Hello there. How's everybody doing? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. How's everybody doing? My name's Sean, Hipster Viz Ninja, and excited to be here on this Wednesday. No, it's Friday. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna do some workout Wednesday. There it is. That's why I'm saying that. Okay, so let's talk about what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be doing week 13, and it's a challenge from Lorna. And in fact, it is about a new feature that was newly released in version 23.1, and it is dynamic access titles. It's a pretty cool feature, and we're excited to kind of show this off and kind of show you what we can do with it. So, without further ado, let's get into the Viz Dojo. Let's get into it. Here we go. All right, here we are. Dynamic access titles. Looks like we're using her rugby data set, and which is a data set that Lorna updates pretty frequently because she loves the rugby league. All right. There we go. Let's go ahead and download this as a Microsoft Excel file because you can see we have multiple years in here. We have multiple tabs. Doesn't matter what it is, but they're years. But we have multiple tabs, so let's go ahead and grab every single one. Let's go ahead and download this as a... Come on now. There we go. All right. So there's our data. Let's go ahead and drag it into Tableau. Come on. There we go. Did you know you can do that? You can just take a file from your desktop or from another application, drag it into Tableau, and it will open it just like it should, just like you would expect it to. It's pretty cool. All right. So we're going to be doing the 2023, right? Is that? Let's take a look again. Yep, just the 2023. All right. Because the 2023 is probably at the player level, where the league is probably kind of an aggregate level, I assume. I have no idea. All right. All right, so what are we doing here? Let's take a look at this data real quick. We've got game ID, name, player number, team name, and then all of the things. So yes, you would see here that Adam Holroyd has played 3 games so far, so he has 3 records. So a game we have a row for each game per player. That's the grain of our data. All right. Let's go ahead and make this an extract because I will forget to later, and then I'll try to publish, and then Tableau will get mad at me. So let's go here. And yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Probably never going to touch this extract again, so it doesn't really matter. There we go. All right, now let's take a look again at the requirements. All right, so one sheet, create 2 parameters looking at all the metrics. It's a little easier to pivot at the start. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. That's true. All right, create a small multiple plot to show the 2 selected metrics by team and player. Size should be the number of games played. Add the team name to the top left of the small multiple. All right, let's do that. So let's actually. I don't think since I've extracted it, I don't think I can transform it anymore. Nope. You can only pivot on live data sources. Did you know that? So let's remove the extract. Let's remove it and delete it. Now that it's back to alive, now we can just we can do this in the data window in the edit data source, or we can do it from right here. We'll just select all of our measures that we want to pivot. So doing shift click, going up to transform, going into pivot. And there we have that. But we will rename this to rugby. Roughby. No, rugby. I can't spell today. Rugby names. Okay? Just like that. Alright. So, we've pivoted the data. Now we're going to change this to rugby name. Rugby what? Okay, let's just go back. There we go. And we're going to call this rugby measures. Rename the values to rugby values. Measures, values. Done. All right. Next, let's go ahead and we're going to need a x-axis parameter and a y-axis parameter. So we'll call this column let's do string. We'll do a list. We will add values from rugby measures. And we'll duplicate this and call it row parameter. Okay. Now we'll create a calculated field. And we'll say if column parameter equals rugby measures, then rugby value. No. And we'll call this our column measure. And we'll duplicate this, call it row measure. Get rid of copy. Change this to row parameter. Take columns to column, rows to rows. Of course, it's just going to give me one, so we'll show this parameter, we'll show this parameter. You can't see them because my head's in the way, so I'll just move them right over here. And what does she default it to? Let's take a look. She defaults it to tackles and meters run. So on columns is meters. And on columns is tackles. And we will add player name to detail. So we'll get a a circle for every dot, or a dot for every player. And she said the number of games is on size, so we'll do number of games, and that'll be the count distinct of game ID. There we go. Now, before we go any further, let's do dynamic access titles. So you can see here, we have row measure, we have column measure. If I change these, nothing happens. What it would be great is if we could get this and this to update to be this, right? And in the old world, what we had to do is we would have to leave it like this, put it on our dashboard, then we would have to remove the access titles, and then we would have to put text boxes under there and around there, and then input the parameter name into the text box, and then that would appear, and then that would work. We'd format it, rotate it for the rows, position it the way that we wanted to, all that kind of stuff. But now, with dynamic access titles, let's go ahead and right click on our edit axis. And right now you'll see we have a new option under the access title. You can see this is a drop down now. So right now it's custom and you can just write whatever you want. Or you can choose a parameter value. Pretty simple. Let's go row parameter. And there you can see it updates. Just like that. It works exactly the way that you would expect it, which is nice. So we'll just do this for the columns as well. We want our column parameter. You can see it dithers out either one of it dithers out these, right? All right. So there we go. All right. Now let's talk about the small multiple, because what we have right now is we have every single player from every single team represented right here, and that's not exactly what we want, right? We want a small multiple. We want a quadrant of a larger scatter plot. We want individual quadrants for each team. So how do we do that? Well, we need to, right, I can't just take team name, I can't just put that out there because that creates that, and that's not great, right? Nobody wants that. So what we need to do is we need to take that off, and we need to, let's see, couple different ways we could do this. One, we could do, we could assign, you could essentially write a case statement, right? That would be like, if team name equals the Castleford Tigers, then 1. Else, if team name equals Cattle and Dragons, then 2. And then you would create a separate, an additional calculation that would say, you would basically create the quadrants yourself, right? You would basically hard code the quadrants, which is a possibility. You would just have to know that, you would just have to make sure that you do that. The other way to do that is with a trellis chart or a panel chart. So we'll do Tableau trellis chart. I can never remember the calculations. So what I like to do is just blog it. And you can see here we have, so first we need to create an index calculation. I generally use like whatever the, I just Google a different blog every single time because I can never remember the actual formulas to create this. So first thing we do, create an index calculation. Next we'll do, what are we doing? Columns first. Column position. Oh, we need to create 2 parameters for total columns. And we'll do, it's a float, and that will be, how many columns do we want? We want 3. And then we have created calculated field. Oh, we need to, let's do, let's see here. I don't see, what's this? This is not a great one because it has this column value. Place column on, oh, duh, okay. Oh yeah, it's the same. All right, so we'll copy this and we'll do create a calculated field. We'll say this is the row position. This is the column position, total columns index -1, row, what do we have here? Close, close, close. We need a new one here. Yep. All right. We'll click apply. Click OK. Column position goes up to column. We're going to make it discrete because it's going to look weird if we don't. We'll do row position to rows. We'll make it discrete because it'll look weird if we don't. Now we just need to set our scope and direction. So we get 3 columns. And basically the scope and direction is how do you want us to partition these, the index fields, right? And the index field is we want to index every single team name. So, and then we'll do name here. Oh, not name, not, we want team name. So we'll put team name there and we'll change this to team name. Nope. See, I've never really understood them. Oh, because we need name and then restart every team name. I think that's right. Nope. I'm still getting way too many. Okay. If I just do this, what do I get? Okay, there we go. That's what I want. Yep. I want, this is right? I've got 12 quadrants, right? One for each team. But I only have, I need a name in here for the individual player. Whenever I do that, things get wonky, right? So let's figure out these table calculations. Maybe we do it like this. Yeah, there we go. Right? No. See, trellis calculations are, I've never really understood them, because they're kind of weird, right? Like, I want 3 columns by 4 rows. So what's going on here? Okay. So we'll do Tableau trellis chart, multiple dimensions. Let's see what the old community has to say about this. Yeah, that doesn't really help me. Let's see. There's one from Andy. See, a lot of these have only a single dimension in there, but we have multiple dimensions. Let's see. What have we? All right, let me get rid of this. All right, and I want to get to a point where I just have 4, right? That's what we're looking for. Nope. Why do we have 8? Let's see. If this doesn't work, I'm just going to go back and do it the old-fashioned way. Yep. So index -1, index for every subcategory. All right, so columns is index -1 with the ampersand. I know that. Yeah. Okay. So if we just did it for make sure column and rows are discrete. Yep, we've done that, and edit the table connections and select subcategory. Yep. Okay. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Donna Coles. I know she's probably put out her blog post, so we'll take a look at that. We've done the parameters, X value, Y value. Yep, we did that. Count of ID. Team name on rows. Team name index. We have 3 columns, right? Okay, so she hard-coded the row numbers. All right, that works. I like that. So let's do column position again up here. Discrete. And then she did, I like this, column position, the ampersand 3. Oh yeah, we did that. We don't need to do anything with that. Column position is index, row position, edit. And then I just need to update this. Right there. There we go. Bingo. All right. So there you go. And then you just need to make sure you do it at the level of, let's see. Okay, so don't, but that's what it was. All right, so I bet if I go back to where it was really bad right here, right? And let's do column this. Let's select both up there at the team name level, and then we'll do the same thing for row position. Edit. See, it's okay. It's okay that we don't know exactly how to do everything perfect the first time, right? I certainly don't, and you don't need to either, and that's okay. All right, so team name. So there you go. So what are we doing here, right? So let's figure this out. So why does this work? This is what we do. This is what we do here, right? We figure out the right way to do it, which is great, right? But then we need to figure out why it works, right? Because if we don't understand why it works, we'll never learn. We'll just, keep going into a cycle of, oh, why doesn't this work? I don't know, it just does. And that doesn't really help, right? So let's talk about why this works. The reason that this works is because, one, we do need to index. Because index is a table calculation. Table calculations happen at the view level, and so everything in the view needs to be taken into account. That's why we select both team name and team. Now then, at the level of, you get to choose at what level do you want to do the index, right? And by default, Tableau will say at the deepest level, right, which is at the very bottom. So it would create an index for every combination of team and player. And that's not what we want. We just want it to index at the team name, right? So we want to give every team member on this team a number 1, and every player on this team a number 2, and so on and so forth, right? And by doing that, that's how we're able to get the right numbers and the right quadrant thing. So I didn't actually have to use Donna's calculation, but I did use it to kind of figure out how. So that'll basically work at any time. See, I just figured it out, right? I now know how to write the calculations and how to set up my table calculations when I have multiple dimensions that I need to take into account, right? And that's exciting. I just learned something, right? And that's great. So, and now you did too, hopefully. So there we go. Everything's looking good there. So now the next thing that we need to figure out is we need to figure out where to put the... How are we going to put... Let's get back here. We don't need this anymore. But you can see here, we've got... let's open it up in Tableau. Let's open up the final product. You can see here we've got the team names in the quadrant, right? And currently, that's not something that we can do. But we can do it with a hack if you're a hacker type of person. But what we'll do now is we will basically, right now we have, we have this, we have these two measures, right? And essentially what we need to do is we need to create a dual axis that does it at whatever this point is, whatever this point is, right? For every single one, right? So we know that, let's see here, we've got custom, let's do this. Let's do window max of some column measure times 1.1. So that's essentially going to take the window max, and we're going to do it. We're going to calculate the window max across the entire table, and so whatever the highest bubble is, that's going to be what goes into this, and then we're going to multiply that by 1.1, and that's going to give us an additional point a little bit higher, right? And then that's also what's going to make it dynamic. All right, so let's click OK. And then let's put this on, and let's see what we get here. What do we get? Let's do, let's edit our table calculation, and let's do see, I'm still getting, what if I do this? No, I get that. I get this. Nope, I get that. Okay. Because what I really want is I want 1 point across the entire thing, right? So maybe let's do max of column measure. The table scope of, let's do that. What's that look like? Okay. And then let's do max. And that still just puts it at that. Because what I want is just 1 point. Let's see. Oh, I know what's happening. I need to go here and I need to remove all of this. There it is. Right? And maybe we'll go back here and we'll do let's do fixed team name max. Oop. Pardon. There we go. Max. it's not the row. Let's see here. What happens if we do minimum? Oh, it just stays there. Okay. Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. Let's edit this axis real quick, and let's do it independent. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's see. I want so the other so essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a value somewhere, a single value on each quadrant right here, right? So basically so essentially what I can do is if I can get a dot to go up in here, up, right in this area. Whoa. Didn't know I was doing that. But I want it that way, right? So if I can get a mark, if I can get a dot, a dual axis dot, right, that can go right there, and then I can, if it as a separate mark, then what I can do is I can just set it to, I can just format the label of it to be the team name, right? That's essentially, that's what I'm trying to do. So, so if we do that, and then maybe we do max, but we take, there we go, okay. No. Okay, maybe I'm getting there. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's, yeah, but that's not on every single one. It's only on the first one. Measure, row measure, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Look at that, Tim. So Tim says, Tim over on YouTube says, last year when we did a trellis chart, you used this calc: index equals int size divided by 2, then 20. Yep, that's good. Yep, that's a good idea. Okay, so essentially what we're going to do is so thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. Giving me a little boost here. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to find the middle, right? So if index is equal to int of size divided by 2, then we'll call it. So then it needs to be dynamic. That's the only other thing, right? Is that it needs to be dynamic, because if I change these, let's do, instead of index, let's do meters, or if what would be column. Yep. If column measure equals the well, it would be equals what? If the column measure is equal to the max column measure, that's going to, but if I do fix team max, yeah, then 0 and name. All right, so if the column measure, which is whatever we're on here, right here, so if this value equals the team max column, right? So if this, right, essentially what this is gonna, if this works, what I'm trying to do is, if this value if this value is the max value of this quadrant, then put a dot at 0, and I'm gonna put that 0 dot. It's gonna go right. It's gonna go kind of over this way, and then we'll figure out the height of it. So let's see if this works. Okay. So what's it? Let's see what it's doing. So, nope. What happened? Dual axis. There we go. Okay. And so we've got 0 for that. Now we just need to, oh wait, we need to synchronize, right? What if I put that up here? Let's undo that. Let's put that up here. Okay. And then I can maybe duplicate this. Wait, no, that's going to create a new mark. I don't want that. I just want one mark. Okay. So, okay, yeah, because I need team name. Okay. And let's do a dual axis. Okay. And that's getting me there, right? Because it's, what if it's here? Oh yeah, we didn't want that. We wanted this, and we want, so the row measure is 2002. doesn't change anything. All right. Because now essentially, right? So we have, and then maybe we'll do, well, we don't want to, I don't need this. Duplicate, delete that. And I need that, but I want this number to be the same. And it's not. Right? Okay, what happened there? Okay, there's my number. There's my... And what I want to do now is... Let's see. How did she get the label? Okay, I had that. Oh. Oh. Okay. So I was on the right path. Did you see that? All right, let's do this again. Let's get rid of this. Let's go back. Let's get rid of all these weird calculations. I was making this too difficult, like I normally do, right? So let's go here. Let's do calculated field, and let's do if, or let's do window max. Right? Yeah, window max of some column measure times 1.1, which is what I did. Right? Click here, click OK. Go here. Edit table calculation. Again, do both. Right here, right? See here, we have, you can see here we've got every single one, but it's all at the same value. It's all at 11,000 or 1,111. So I was there. I just didn't trust myself long enough. So now what I can do here is, and then potentially, what happens if I go here and I create a table calculation here and I put a window min on it? And then I take that and I do that. And then I do this. And I do that. Nope, just the one. Okay. All right. So we still get one for each. All right. That's fine. Oh, wait. Come on. Go all the way back. There we go. Calculation 1. Let's make sure this is right. Team and team name. Yep. But if I go here, if I go to calculation 1 and I remove player name, I'm going to get just 1. And then I can do this. Oh, yeah. So I do need 1 for team name. All right. All right. That works. Okay. Well, anyway, what you can do now is you can take team name, put it on label. If we wanted to, we could change this to a line chart. And we could just do line ends only at the start of the line. And don't allow labels to overlap. Nope. Min max. Okay. I guess we can't do that. I thought we could. There we go. Min max on, we only want the minimum value. We don't want them to overlap. for each pane. Not all of them. We don't want them to overlap. And team name? Nope. Team name. Okay. Min max. Yep. On pane, sum of x labeled a minimum. Yep. Okay. And we'll drop the size. Whoop. What? How about just drop the opacity? Can we do that? Okay. Yep. Do we need that on size? I don't think we do. Okay. Yep, it's all the way down. Okay. Oh, there it is. That's why. There we go. Drop that all the way down. We don't need measure names on color. And yep. But now we've got all these, right? We just, let's see. There we go. So I had the wrong one. Whatever. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay. So now, so again, let's talk about why it works, right? Let's figure it out. Oh, but we still have, maybe we just do this. Yeah. And don't sync it, right? So there's another example of not syncing your axes, right? That's fun. What's that look like? There we go. That looks better. So we put that over there, and it puts that up there, and it doesn't synchronize the axes because we're creating the index, or creating this calculation 1 based off of the team and team name, right? That's why it goes all the way up to 1,000, right? Whenever these only go to 40, that gets us there. And that gets us, and then we just change the alignment, and let's just make sure that, yeah, okay. So there you go. So now we can just hide show the header. So there we go, and now we can hide this header and put it on a dashboard and call it a day. Let's see, let's see what this looks like here. Oh yeah. Yep, no grid lines. No zero line. Change this. Put our opacity here. We don't need measure names on color. Just do one of these. Do one of those guys. Put a little dark border on it so you can see the outline of them. And there we go. So there you go. There's how you complete that. We needed a little bit of help this week. That's okay. It's no big deal. It's all a part of learning, right? So yeah, trellis charts can be a little tricky. The other way that I talked about doing it was you could do if you wanted to forego the trellis chart table calculation index stuff, you could just do case of team name when this is when Castleford Tigers then 1, when Catalan Dragons then 2, when Huddersfield Giants then 3, when Hull FC then 1, and so on and so forth, right? And this would be your columns, right? And then, or this would, yeah, your columns. Column hard code. And then you would just duplicate this. Call it your row hard code. And then these would all be on row 1. This one would be on row 2. So then when you go to, and then I'll just do this team name, Castleford, Catalan, Huddersfield, Hull. All right, so I filtered those, and now I'll just go to column hard code, discrete, dimension, 1, 2, 3, row hard code, discrete, right? And then you can do that, right? And then you do column position, or column measure, row measure, and then you do team, or you do name, right? So a couple different ways you can do it. This is the non-table calc route. Again, so talk about pros and cons of both. You don't have as much. Again, and then you could also create, you could just hard code a reference line, right? You could just do min of 220, we'll call it, right? 220. There. Remove name. You get 1 over there. And then you can oh yeah, it goes here. No. And then you can do this, right? And you get the same thing. You get to the same thing, right? So again, you're hard coding a lot of things, which means you lose a lot of the dynamic capabilities, right? Like on this, now that we've made all of this dynamic, we could potentially, if we wanted to, dynamically sort the team name based on, right? Like if I wanted to, like watch this. So I go here and I go to sort my team name. I'm going to do it on a field, and I'm going to do it on descending by the column measure. Right? So there you go. So now this team has had the most combined meters, right? And this team had the most combined, or had the least combined meters. Additionally, you could go here, row games, right? Row measure. This team had the most tackles. This team had the least tackles, right? So I mean, by doing it this way, you have a lot more flexibility of how you want to put that into, how you want to put together your dashboards. So again, if you just need a hard code, if somebody just needs a screenshot for a PowerPoint deck, hard code it away, be done with it. If you want something a little bit more dynamic, you will need to learn how to manipulate your table calculations and do a true trellis chart, if that makes sense. So, but otherwise, we've kind of figured that out. Now we just got to finish up our tooltips, put it on a dashboard, send it on its way. We'll be good to go. So, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a little bit. It's always fun to watch people struggle, right? So that's why I do these, because I struggle too sometimes, and it's okay. So, that's what you got. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. We'll be back next week. Until then, we are data people. I am Hipster Viz Ninja. Go forth and viz.